Uh, Welcome to Yurt Time. I'm your host, Kurt. So as you can see, we're back in the inner sanctum of the Yurtdom, the inner Yurtdom. And so in the inner Yurtdom, they say there are no shortcuts, but let's see if we can learn. Uh, I don't know. Somebody tell me if Tai Chi is more than this, or like somebody tell me if like Qigong or like energy mastery is it more than this? Just let me know. So your perception, your metabolism, your life force, your being, all of this is literally, factually, scientifically proven 100% to be floating in water. When you dissect the body and you look at where the body actually is, using like a microscope and stuff, you find that the actual life of the body is all under or inside of water. So all of the perceptions, sight, sound, vision, are actions and activities of the metabolism. Like when your metabolism stops, they go away. They're to the best of anybody's knowledge, all of this is happening inside of water. That's where it has to be studied. Like if you're doing biology, and that's where all the energy from the air is going. It's all going into water. So, factually, scientifically, all of this, like the entirety of the universe, is floating inside of the water of your body. And so if you want your metabolism to do anything or to take any shape, that water has to move to take the shape. So to move anything, you have to move it with the water around all of the perceptions, right? So I'm talking the perception of the ground, the perception of space, the perception of gravity, the perception of all things, right? All of that stuff is floating in the body water. And then on the outside of that is kind of like a crusty, dry, like formerly alive part of you. And that's kind of what you touch things through. Like this is the structure and the shape of your perception. Your perception is in the water of your body. The water of your body is inside of the physical shell or the balloons or the bags and the tubes of the water. That's the structure and the shape of the universe. So like if you have anything that's moving, that outer body has to be moved, or you could see it as moving the metabolism. So the metabolism is all sensory perception. Anything you could ever possibly sense is being done via the life force or via the metabolism. As an individual, the entirety of your life force is in this kind of singular body of water. And so the movements and the actions and the activity of that life force is dictated or controlled by the tubes of the body and the bags. So if you want to move fluidically, you move from where that water is. And you feel everything from that water, and that water is kind of very, very close in structure, form to awareness itself. So first is to feel the metabolism floating in awareness, like being in water. It has no problem staying inside of water, like floating in the water. So once the body's floating, then you can have it be moved by the water. So the movements of the water will feel like motivation, focus, desire, passion, these things that move you. That's the movement of the water. So, but with focus, you can generate quite a much bigger movement field and move your body with this more expanded field. So the body, the metabolism, the perception can just be floating, relaxed, and when it's just floating, you're one with what is. So the instant that you move, right? The instant you move from your body, you lose the connection. The instant that you move from the individuality, you lose the connection to the water body, which is around everything, not just in the individual, but it's around all perception. It's enveloping all perception, all phenomena. And so that primary thing is to just be in that. And then if you're sensitive or gentle or whatever, you can try and listen to something that you find interesting, true, beautiful. So it's the sensation of truth, or the perception of truth. There's an attraction towards the good, the true, the beautiful, towards virtue, towards what is good. That's this ever-drawing current. So if you'll be attracted to those things. All the things that people get into athletics for, or religion, or academics, study. The reason people do a lot of these things, service, charity, is there's a draw towards them. There's a pull towards those things. So when doing that stuff, if there's like a genuine pull, then you just go with that current. Keeping the body relaxed, and the body becomes an expression of that current. So depending on your age and your where you're at, that might be doing awesome at sports, or getting to, it's like, it's very individual, right? There's like, if you pour a bucket of water down the hill, it's like, where is it supposed to go? Like pour a bucket of water down a mountain, and it's like, you try and describe where or how it's supposed to go. Like if you were to write like a book about, how is the water supposed to flow down the mountain? Does it just go around that tree? I don't know, right? This metaphor doesn't ever exhaust itself. The water one, it's inexhaustible. It's like an everlasting spring of metaphor. You can't wear it out. It is, there probably needs to be a discussion on the power of thinking fluidically, both analogically and physically. And so a lot of you can induce current very, very far away. And you can relax and feel very far away. and then an instant But yeah, so to learn Tai Chi or to learn anything, you just have to be around somebody who's also trying to learn at that level. And then the dynamic or the games or the thoughts or whatever that you generate together, that you can use other people to generate those external currents around you and make them very palpable. So stuff like that's good for you anytime that you're having to listen to external currents. And so things that make the external currents easier to detect are a type of technology similar to sticks, swords, levers, pulleys, wedges, ramps, wheels, fire, like all these tools that enhance what we naturally do. Forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So you start doing this group interaction thing, and then that becomes instructive. It generates external currents like motivation for like tournaments, rehearsals, practices, shows, performances. All of these things, like if you want to do that, because performance is like a type of what it's a wealth of attention. So it's cool to get to do performances because you get wealthy in terms of attention. So it provides these things just provide motivations that you can feel, and you can feel that rush or that exhilaration of currents and start to feel the surrounding space. Like feel opponents and feel your teammates and feel feel all that stuff move and become and respond to it, and that's learning. Because all that's going around, and you're just this nexus point. And that's why people in particular cultures tend to just all think and do the same stuff. There's only so many things you can do surfing, right? Like if you get into surfing, it's like there's only a couple of different things you can do, and waves push into you. So like surfing, like in the ocean, is a great study in how to stay with or survive or interact with currents and waves in the mind or in awareness, because the metabolism as it flows through the water of the body makes waves in it, like at the boundary between the electricity of the atoms or the living part of the body, the boundary between that and water is in constant flux. It's going crazy. So it's like the surface of the ocean. Like your awareness. And that's how the awareness, like heaven, is mirroring Earth. Because the life force is in the water, but it's not the water. But the movement of the life force is causing the awareness to move in an identical pattern to the life force. So studying water and stuff like that is like extremely useful in understanding awareness. And awareness is the thing that's right next to the metabolism. It's right next to all the water. The awareness knows everything. You can look into there's no limit to the depth into your perception that you can look into your life from your awareness. And so your life is made up of everything that like people have ever studied anywhere. Like anybody can know anything if they want to, from looking into their breath, basically into their life force. Like it's only this is just one level of looking at the metabolism, is where there's perceptions are. This is like a vibration in the metabolism induced by the sensory organs. So but with focus, you can change easily sort of which level to focus on in terms of the disturbances in the water or in the awareness. So like as you can just instantly relax into that, and it averages out into this and takes care of itself. Right? But once it's like doing that, you can sit there and look into like ever increasing fidelity and vibration at the edge of awareness, between awareness and life. So the perception is exactly what I'm talking about. But if you look at that, there's more. And it's kind of folding in on itself. So as you look into it, you're looking into the entirety of your awareness. Like the totality of the surface of your metabolism is sort of one boundary of your awareness. Like everything that's happening in the body water is a boundary of your awareness, and all that's kind of seen at once and floated together. So it has currents, waves, and, experience that is desire, motivation, compulsion. I would say catching a wave is like what people are all blind to this, so just look at this analogy and you'll understand a lot of different types of behavior. Like, you can see people that are in deep water and the waves are like this, and then some people are in like near the tidal break. You get into the weird spots in the water, like where the waves are crashing, where it's like waves are absolutely the most interesting. That's where you just get pounded as well into these like horrible dishwasher cycles of duality and stuff like that. If you're like right at the wave break, if you get out of it all the way onto the sand, you eventually start to get burned by like the rays of heaven. So like that's if you're all the way out of awareness. But then, so you could be at the tidal break, depending on the day. It could be nice some places. You could be way out in the ocean where the waves aren't going crazy, but you could get eaten by sharks. There's like nutrients in the awareness. You can like fish for stuff. Things can fish for you in it. It's very bubbly and folded in on itself. So you can see everything sort of fractally, like everything's just like kind of a bubble. Like this is, so I think this is like as much Qigong or Tai Chi or like yoga that you could do by yourself on the internet, at least. it's really mostly about proving common sense to yourself. Like if you'd say, what is science? It's like you go, oh, I do have my inner knowing, like my true inner knowing. Like, do you get what I'm talking about? Have you done it? Anybody's true inner knowing is genuinely, obviously more accurate than anything anyone could discover using any sort of method. So no one's made a method that trumps the genuine internal search for the heart. Like it's a sign of insanity to pretend otherwise. And that's all you can say about people like that. Yeah, to not understand this and to like kind of just live in a like relative, like to have it motivate what you frequently to contemplate it. It's like just eternal mysteries. Without that, like there's a current towards it. Anyway, I'm tired.